Today I'm back in Miami Shores and I'm right across the street from the Miami Shores Country Club, which is right over here. I can even hear a bunch of people in the pool over there. And doesn't look like rain today, but we got a new problem, the heat. It is literally 92 degrees here in Miami today, but feels like 101 right now. And whew, I don't know how else to explain it to you guys. If you're out here walking, you'd know what I mean, but it is scorching right now. And this is the perfect time for me to announce here on the channel something that's going to be happening that hopefully you're going to enjoy just as much as me. The week of the 4th of July, I'm going to be leaving Miami for the rest of the summer, guys. I'm going to be on a road trip, and I'm going to be road tripping all the way out to California, and I'm going to be stopping at a ton of different places in between when I get there and doing videos just like this in different neighborhoods across the country. And it's something I've been wanting to do for a while. It was something that was suggested to me a while ago, and now I finally have the chance to do it. And I can't wait to get out of Miami for the summer. This is going to be a lot of fun. So if you're somebody that watches the videos for these neighborhood walk and talks and like to see all the different areas, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and give this video a like, because you're going to see a ton of different areas in the coming months from me, starting in July, all across the country and in California once I get out there. So it'll be a lot of fun to bring you guys along with me on that trip. Now it seems like almost on a weekly basis, we are hearing stories of different companies pulling a 180 reversal on their remote work policies. And the latest one to do this just last week was Farmers Insurance, the same insurance company that decided they don't want to write any more policies in the state of California. What makes this announcement surprising and extremely messed up, really, is the fact that just last year, Farmers announced that they were moving to a remote work system for their company, and they were allowing everybody to work remotely. And a lot of people, sold their cars, they sold their houses, moved to different cities across the country to be closer to family, have a lower cost of living, the usual things that we see that people do when they are remote workers, right? But now the new CEO, Raul Vargas, he has decided to reverse that remote work policies. And now the mandate is that the majority of the Farmers employees, 21,000 in fact, must work in the office 3 days a week or you're fired, guys. And needless to say, these people are extremely pissed off, and who wouldn't be? Because after just a year ago, the company transitioning to this remote work culture, and then they say, oh no, we messed up. We want you back in the office now that there's a new boss in charge. You got one person who said that they were hired on as a remote worker, and now this is being reversed on them. But my question is to this person, like I have no idea, it didn't say in this story, do you have a contract in writing saying that your position is 100% remote? Because if you don't, then there's really nothing that you can do, guys. It's not in your employment contract. If it was just a verbal promise that it's all remote, these guys can do whatever they want. And realistically speaking, they can do whatever they want anyways. You can see a little bit of the country club in the background as we walk by. Even if you have the employment contract saying that you're guaranteed to work remotely, and they come in there and change this, well, the only thing you can do is quit. And guess what? If you quit, no unemployment for you. You got another person here, which is a very common story. We hear about these remote work stories that sold their house and they moved to another city across the country to be close to their grandchildren, and this was all based on a lie. You see a similar revolt happening over at Amazon, where they recently did a protest about the return to the office policies that they're doing over there. So people are fighting back. But here's the tough thing with all of this, if you ask me, is prior to the pandemic, these remote jobs were not nearly as prevalent as they are today, right? But now that most of that is all over with, you're seeing a lot of these companies that want their employees to come back into the office, but even though they want them to come back, it's on a much more generous schedule than before. I mean, 3 days a week in the office is not so bad, guys. Like, I don't have a regular job. I haven't had a regular job since I was 21 years old, literally. But if I would love it if I had a job where I only had to go into the office 3 days a week. That would be great. And the rest of the time I could work from my house. It's better than nothing, right? I mean, that's how I see it. But people are claiming this is taking a toll on their emotional health and their well-being, which obviously is important. And whether that's an excuse or they're actually for real, I have no idea. But in a related instance, there was a Gallup poll of more than 60,000 people across the US to figure out American sentiment about their jobs, and this has been going on since the year 2000, so 23 years of this same survey. And basically the idea here is that the higher the sentiment is for workers, then the more productive that they will be, the more their life satisfaction goes up, as well as the probability of them being more loyal to the company goes up as well. But here's the thing, in the most recent Gallup poll, 57% said that they thought it was a good time to find a new job. And also what they found is some of the happiest workers throughout the entire country are people who voluntarily switched jobs during the pandemic and who can now work from home at least part-time. So what is Farmers offering? They're offering their employees to work from home part-time, right? They're not requiring people to be back in the office 5 days a week. It's 3 days a week. So plus you get your 2 days off. 4 out of 7 days a week, you're still at home. That's not a bad deal, guys. Now, I understand the concern that people moved across the country and bought houses and all this stuff, anticipating that they would be able to work remotely, but I mean, that's kind of going out on a pretty big limb. You know, you're taking some pretty big chances there, assuming that that's going to last forever. So at the same time, I don't really feel sorry for people that did that, because you know deep down that there could always be a possibility that the company may reverse their policy and call people back into the office. And that's exactly what's happening right now. And you know, I've already covered numerous times before how people are literally losing money selling homes that at a loss that they have to sell now because they have to go back to the office if they want to keep their jobs. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, you have people that are just going to quit and try to find a different remote position. And people who have been smart with their money and financially responsible are probably in the best position to do something like that right now and fight against the man, so to speak. And some people are claiming, well, you know, now that they're requiring people to come back to the office, then this means that they don't trust us. They don't trust us to get our work done anymore. And not only that, but they're taking away the benefits of working from home, like, you know, cutting back on the time and cost of commuting to and from work every day, as well as, you know, spending more time with their families and all of this. So people are really upset about this, which I get it. But one thing that's extremely obvious right now is the effect that so much remote work is having on the commercial real estate sector, guys. Literally, this week, there was another huge story out of San Francisco where you have the owner of the Westfield Mall, which is another place in downtown San Francisco, leaving the place behind, and they're going to be handing the keys back to the bank. Very similar to the Hilton and the Park hotels that we talked about last week. And this is a big deal. And the reason why it's a big deal is because these places are getting hit so hard by the amount of remote work and nobody being in the area. And you combine that with, you know, the lawless policies they have over there, where crime is rampant and homelessness and drug use is on literally every street corner over there. It's no wonder that this is happening. And just on this one property alone, this Westfield Mall, this is a $558 million loan, guys. And that's why this is a big deal, because you're seeing these major defaults. I remember the other two hotels combined, that was like another $740 million. Here's another $580 million. You're talking well over $1 billion just with these three properties. So who's next? Who's going to be pulling out of San Francisco next? And this is what they said. This is their reasons for pulling out. They said, given the challenging operating conditions in downtown San Francisco, which have led to declines in sales, occupancy, and foot traffic, we have made the difficult decision to begin the process to transfer management of the shopping center to our lender to allow them to appoint a receiver to operate the property going forward. So they're just giving up, you know. You guys can have the place back. We don't want anything to do with it no more. We're not making anywhere near the money that we were making pre-pandemic. And here's the other reason they're giving this up, guys. The mall only has 53% occupancy right now. this company that owns the Westfield Mall, their other malls across the United States have on average 93% occupancy. So almost double, you know, and that's almost fully occupied, basically. And you know, I showed you guys the Aventura Mall video a couple months ago when we had all this crazy rain. I did the video inside the mall. It looks like no recession is happening inside the mall because there was a million people inside and everything was just jam-packed, you know? So it just goes to show you the difference between what's happening here in Miami and San Francisco is like day and night right now. And what does this all lead to? It leads to lower sales. In fact, they had a 35% drop in sales at this Westfield Mall, and it went from $455 million in 2019 down to $298 million in 2022. And right now the foot traffic at this mall is down by 43%, and all the other malls that they own are pretty much at pre-pandemic levels when it comes to foot traffic, guys. So what does this tell you? Two things. One, people don't want to be around crime, drugs, and homelessness. That's a given. Whether you're a resident there or a visitor, nobody wants to go to places like this where it feels unsafe, it's very dirty, you know, there's literally feces on the street, it's disgusting, you know, I've been there, okay? And let me know, by the way, if you want me to do a video in San Francisco when I'm over there. I'm gonna have to scout real carefully where I will do it, because you know, it is pretty dangerous over there. But let me know if that's something you want to see when I'm over that way. And the crazy thing is the mayor of San Francisco, London Breed, is just acting like none of this is a big deal. Whenever the hotels went down last week, they said, oh, don't worry about it. Someone else is going to come in and fill their place. Pretty much the same thing she's saying now. She's saying now that with the new management, we will have an opportunity to pursue a new vision for this space that focuses on what the future of downtown San Francisco can be. Okay, so you're going to turn it into something else. Who's going to turn it into something else? Who is going to buy this property and think that this is going to be a good location with all this madness happening right outside your front door, guys? I don't know how she thinks that this is going to recover and who's going to come in and take this over. And now she's saying that the mall would then be protected by more police and civilian ambassadors. They'd be surrounding the entire Union Square area. Like, why aren't they doing that now? Why didn't they do something proactively to get ahead of this before people got so fed up that they don't even want to be there anymore? It takes, you know, these major businesses pulling out of the area for them to say they're going to do something about it, and also saying you're going to do something about it and actually doing something about it is two different things. So we'll see. You know, in some way, I'm kind of glad that these things are happening to San Francisco, because this is a wake-up call for them. It's like, how many businesses do you need to lose to start realizing if we don't clean up our act, the city is going to fall to pieces, you know what I'm saying? And the more businesses that decide to leave, the less jobs that are going to be available, the less activities are going to be available for people to do, which means even more people are going to leave the city in search of a better place to live, guys, especially with how expensive it is there. It's practically still the most expensive place to live in the entire country. And to me, the only thing holding this place together is because there's so many big tech companies that are headquartered there still. But who knows? Maybe they'll be leaving next after all of this, you know? People can only take so much. I know I wouldn't want to be opening up my office in this area where I have to worry about a homeless guy taking a dump right outside of my business and nobody wanting to come in because of that, or worried about stepping on all the needles and the smell on the streets and everything. It's just disgusting, you know? Now, one other thing I came across today that I didn't even know about until now, there was a building collapse in Davenport, Iowa. In fact, this place was about 100 years old, and it was a brick building. It's a partial collapse. The whole thing didn't come down. But right now they're investigating the cause of the collapse, and they think at the moment that it could be because the one side of the building that had the collapse had its walls painted, and the building is built entirely out of brick. Like this house right here, guys, coincidentally, we're walking past a house that has some brick. You can see there's some brick on the outside of this house. Well, this building, they painted over the brick. And apparently, when you paint over the brick like that, it basically traps all of the moisture inside the brick, because bricks are supposed to be like sponges where they can breathe. They let moisture in and they also let moisture out. But when you paint over the bricks, then it starts collecting all the moisture inside, which right now they believe is the current reason that the building collapsed. The thing that you need to know about this is if you have bricks on your home, or you're looking at buying a house made out of bricks, you have to make sure that the bricks are not painted, guys, because if they are, then this could actually happen to you at your own home and really deteriorate the quality of the bricks pretty quickly if there's paint. And if you live in a house right now that has paint on the bricks, then you need to hire a professional company to get that paint removed ASAP, because this is going to be causing some major problems for you down the road. Just like a quick heads up on something that I had no idea about. I don't know much about construction, and after hearing this, don't paint it, guys. And if it's already painted, get rid of it. Now, one last thing I wanted to cover here is so many people have been waiting for home prices to come down, especially in Florida, because people who watch my channel love seeing the beauty of the area and have dreams of moving to Florida. Well, good news for you guys. Florida is literally the #1 state right now that has the most increase in inventory compared to a year ago. So year over year inventory is higher than any other state right now in the entire country. And part of that is due to so many flippers and resellers, but it's also due to the fact that there's a massive construction boom here right now, and there's so many new properties being built on a daily basis. But according to a new report from CoreLogic, if you are wanting to buy a house here in Florida, here are some places that you might want to be looking at right now, because they have the highest probability of prices coming down in the next 12 months. And the #1 place on the list is Lakeland and Winter Haven, Florida. They predict about a 70% chance that home prices are going to be starting to decline there in the next 12 months. Over in Northport and Sarasota, Bradenton, Florida, 70% chance probability home prices are going to be declining, guys. And Cape Coral, Fort Myers, same thing, 70% chance home prices will decline. Port St. Lucie, Florida, same thing, guys. So, and these are some pretty popular areas in Florida, and I've been to all of them except for Lakeland, and they're pretty nice areas, guys. Like, you know, if buying a house in Florida has been something that you've been wanting to do, I know many of you are looking to retire down here. Many of you have said that you're not going to retire here anymore due to the massive insurance problems that we're having, which I don't blame you, because that is such a wild card right now. But if you are looking to come down here still, I would start keeping my eye on those areas in particular, because like I've been telling people, if you want to get a good deal, just having a little patience right now can go a long way. And you know, having price declines in some of these pretty popular areas to live in Florida could get you a better deal than what you would be getting today. Keep an eye on Sarasota, keep an eye on Bradenton, keep an eye on Lakeland, keep an eye on Fort Myers, Cape Coral, and Port St. Lucie. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you click the bell notification down below. YouTube will alert you every time I post a new video. And if you don't want to wait, check out my next one on the screen right over here, and I'll see you in the next one.